Train drivers of Reddit, what is the strangest thing you've seen on the tracks? I've been driving trains for about 10 years, the most memorable would be two male peacocks on the track doing some sort of a dominance display. Very pretty birds but a shame to hit them. I'm guessing the train won that dominance display. Was that in India? Or maybe California? My part of California has a healthy population of peacocks. They say they got loose from a movie shoot in the 1930s and just made themselves at home. When I first moved here and heard them screaming at night, I thought it was a child crying out for help. I went out looking for the unfortunate tyke and found fowl instead. The human unicorn of Chicago. It's the guy that would bend over next to the passing trains with a broomstick sticking out of his ass. Please tell me you have some sort of link you can post. That's not a unicorn. That's a guy with a broomstick in his ass. Porto potty truck getting into an accident with a semi-hauling toilet paper. You used the wrong formula but got the correct answer. You got your chocolate in my peanut butter. I'm old. Dildos. Random. Large. Dildos. They turn up at various parts of the network, and achieve legendary status amongst the crew. Extra points if they can be seen by the passengers. You can gauge how long someone has been a driver by which dildos they remember. Alright, Bill, so you're saying that you have years of railroad experience, but have no proof? Yep, okay, then. What's the largest dildo you've seen on the job? What the foo? Okay, you have no experience, get out. Hey honey. Going to be late tonight, new bullshit speed restrictions over near Green Dinosaur Dong. I should be back at regular motion at about 3 inches pink trainer. Love ya. Witnessed a drunk chap grabbed the overhead lines once, melted his ribcage and his insides turned into goo. 25000V will do that to you. That doesn't sound fun to watch. Makes me feel better about the stupid things I've done drunk. Train driver from Australia, for me it would be either an emu charging headfirst at my train, or two foxes fornicating in between the tracks. Emu hold grudges. They never forgot the war. Fornicating? Just assuming the foxes weren't married, then? Judgmental. Smile. Not driver but maintained railside IT equipment. Lightning strike so hard it vaporized all the copper/gold/solder off the server boards and deposited it 4 inches away on the server hut metal wall as a mirror sheen of metal. Charred bits everywhere. Didn't need that $500,000 worth of acoustic and laser wheel monitoring gear. So what you're telling us is that you're a disappointment that didn't take any pictures. How does one get into railroad IT? Not a driver, but have a wholesome one. A relative of mine is a depot clerk and some guys brought in 2 kittens they found in a boxcar. Young enough that their eyes hadn't opened yet. She ended up in a foster to adopt situation. Named the boy Carson because he's the son of a boxcar, and the girl Madison because that's where the train had come out of. If you have access to photos, you must pay the cat tax. Guy decided to commit suicide by standing the tracks, but he wanted his dog to go with him. The dog broke away, he would chase it down, drag it back onto the tracks as the train is bearing down, all horns/bells/lights going. People in the picnic area nearby are freaking out, passengers leaning out windows seeing this weird scene repeated 3 or 4 times. Dog got away and survived, Guy did not. All passengers had to be debarked and bussed to next stop. FRA/FDA really brings things to a halt when there's a human death. Debarked. Heh? Thank God the dog got away. Not a train driver but former Wendy's employee who needs to share my story. Closing up at 11 PM, co-worker goes out for smoke and comes back freaking out. There was a naked homeless guy laying in the middle of the track next to the store jacking off and screaming like he was in pain. This track is often used as it runs straight through town. Anyone heard of Ottawa, Illinois? So many trains, so we called the cops and he was completely unresponsive to them. Still screaming and jerking it, guy's completely paralyzed all over, stiff as a board. They call paramedics and they put him on a stretcher, still locked up, jacking and screaming. Turns out dude was like a human crack rock, and that's what he was. This surprised me until you mentioned Ottawa. That explains everything. What's a human crack rock? I have never heard this expression before. Most of my near misses were with other RR personnel who went on the right of way to look at something just for a minute without telling the dispatcher what they were doing. Do you gotta report that? A tree branch. I've only driven a train once. Once? Did you hit the tree? Hol up. How does life work out so that you only drive a train once? The only railway crossing in New Mexico where there's no signal reception of any kind, a Dano truck randomly broke down on the track. We eventually got it moved, but the train felt a little light when we started moving again. Turns out someone stole a bunch of chemicals from one of the tanker cars. Just so crazy. Who thinks of that? Did you hear that a kid went missing in that area? Wait a fucking minute. Going to school to become an engineer, and you wouldn't believe the amount of math involved. Like, damn dude, I never knew DiffEQ was required to drive a train. Hope to see some interesting stuff when I finally hit the tracks. Differential equations. I guess they don't call them engineers for nothing. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.